I just wanted to come in and do a 30-minute podcast. So, I'm Marlene of Marlene Motivates, your channel for motivation, inspiration, and positivity. So, I wanted to do this podcast today and talking about people who are addicted to people pleasing. This is going to be episode 1. I'm going to be doing a series. I'm going to be just doing pop ups and talking about some things that I think are important to talk about. But this is going to be 30 minutes, so I'm going to keep it brief. So, I did want to say to everybody, we have to be about ourselves, you know, and it's not being selfish, it's being real. It's being honest. It's about learning to support our own mindset, learning that we each deserve certain things. We deserve to take care of ourselves. We deserve to have goals. We deserve to have a life. And it's standing up for that and believing in that. I deserve to have some good things. I deserve to have a great life. I deserve to have goals, and I deserve to accomplish them. And we can't do that until we allow ourselves to think about ourselves and to not only think about others, because it definitely can be an addiction. It can be an addiction to not wanting to speak up out of many different reasons because we are a people pleaser. Now, I wanted to say that people pleasers aren't bad people. All it is that sometimes we just don't know how to speak up for ourselves, whether it's how we were raised, the people who are around us. Sometimes the people who are people pleasers is because of so many different reasons, why we're going to get into in today's topic. So, addicted to people pleasing. Um, Basically, it's just about altering our words or our actions and behaviors for the sake of another person's feelings or reactions. Hi, Miss Lynn. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy Tuesday. It's when we're addicted to people pleasing, we edit or we alter our words or behaviors for the sake of another person's feelings or their reactions and what they're going through. And most of the time, we're sacrificing our goals, our wants, our needs for theirs. And that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to allow yourself to not have your hopes, your dreams, your life. You usually put yourself on the back burner. And it is an addiction because how we allow ourselves to show up is how other people are going to treat us. People treat you based on how you treat yourself. And when you don't have certain things set in place, when you don't have certain things like yes or no, this is what I stand on, when people know that they can manipulate you and use you, they definitely will. So that's why I said it's an addiction to people pleasing. And most of the time, people pleasing can be a response to trauma. It's a real thing, everybody. Most of the time, it's not that a person wants to be that way, but because they have been traumatized by either their childhood or other relationships. And because of those experiences, those life experiences, they get into people pleasing because it's a coping mechanism. That's how they cope with this life because of what they have been through. And another thing is that most people are people pleasers because they're motivated by fear. Fear, if I don't do X, Y, and Z, I will be punished. So sometimes the people who are people pleasers, you were punished maybe as a child. Maybe you were punished by your siblings by not being communicated with. Maybe you were ignored. Maybe they told you if you don't do this, this will be the consequence. You won't be supported. We won't talk to you. So you feel out of fear. You have to do what other people want because you want to be accepted. So that's the thing about people pleasing. It's something that's very unhealthy. And I want for us to talk about this in the next episode. We're going to get into it in a little bit more, but because we're only staying on for 30 minutes, I did want to get into some of the things that how we can reset and refocus from being a people pleaser. I'm going to talk about 8 ways that we can get away from being a people pleaser. And the first thing is that we have to set some healthy boundaries. What are they? What are healthy boundaries? Well, it's a boundary that we put in place that makes us feel good. It could be saying things like, you cannot call me after this time because that's my time for sleeping. Many times we expect for people who are adults to be able to know, like, you should know not to call me too late, or you should know X, Y, and Z. But we cannot expect people, because they're adults, to feel that everybody is mature. There is a lot of adults in a little kid's body. You know, the little kid is still there. They have not worked on their inner child, healing their traumas. So they look to be a grown up, but in actuality, emotionally and mentally, they have never healed from their past and the wounds from way back when. So they still have the mentality of a little kid, which is not good. So we cannot expect other people to know and be mind readers. So in setting healthy boundaries, we communicate. We communicate what we're going through, how we feel, and that's it. We do not make it optional. When we set healthy boundaries for people that we care about, we do that to protect ourselves and to protect them. Because when we are mature people, which we are motivators, we are mature people, we're mature women and men who know what we want. So, because of that, we don't make people guess, we don't make assumptions. We tell people exactly what it is that we want, what we need. And if somebody can't do that, that's when you put people in timeout or you block them and you move on about your business. See, the thing, speaking from being a former um, person who is addicted to people pleasing, I always didn't want to put a boundary because then if I don't do it, then who's going to do it? You have to release that control. Whether it's your child, whether it's your spouse or significant other, whether it's a friend or it's a job, we have to let others make their own decisions. That's one of the most important things about setting boundaries and showing up for ourselves. And that's something that I want for you all to say in today's discussion. If you're taking some notes, I want you to jot this down. It's time for me to live my life. Sometimes, unfortunately, we are not going through and living our life. We are supporting others to live theirs, or we're doing kind deeds for others. We can be good people, but are we living our life? Are we living our life to the best, highest potential possible, or are we putting ourselves on the shelf? And it's something that's very easy to do. If we don't, number one, set healthy boundaries, we will be allowing toxic into our life. Now, toxic happens with people who have maybe some mental issues, or people who have the controlling, manipulative behaviors, and they'll do things to us. So first, we have to set those boundaries. You have to tell people how you feel, what you will allow, what you stand on, what your values, so they won't be surprised when you enforce them. See, why it was very difficult for me in speaking and being transparent about this is because I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I was trying to do. First, we have to work on ourselves and healing and spending some time by ourselves and coming up with a plan. What do I believe about myself? What do I deserve? What do I want? And then you can set up some simple, healthy boundaries for you, because that's what this life is about. You making sure that you are happy. Yes, we all deserve to be happy. Every single one of us. So set those healthy boundaries. Point number 2, prioritize your needs. I don't know who this is speaking to, but this definitely speaks to my head, my heart, my spirit, and my soul. Most of the time, as women and men, we're busy in this life. And we're busy running around doing everything. You bills have to be paid, a household has to be run, and yes, all of those things need to happen. But where do you lie in the list of all of the things that you have to do on a day-to-day basis? Do you prioritize your needs, prioritize yourself, and do the things that you need so that you can be okay? Even the simple things. I'm not going to take anything for granted. So I'm going to say it all. Making sure we're going into our personal care, seeing our doctors, taking care of ourselves financially, making sure we're eating, taking care of our mental health. All of these things are our priority. So if you have never said that to yourself, which I never had, I didn't grow up in that I'm valid and important. I had to learn to speak that into existence, that I was important. My feelings are important. What I want to do is important. My goals are important. My opinions are important. Most of the time we push our goals, our hopes, our dreams, and things that we want to do in our life. We put all of that on the back burner because we think other people's goals are more important, or we're being supportive and we're being kind, and we're busy, when all it really is sometimes we just have not spoken up for ourselves and say, it's time for me to do something for me. It's time for me to live my dreams out loud and have some fun. Yes, Miss Lynn. Yes, me also. Yeah, it's time for us to prioritize ourselves. And I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to say that to yourself. I matter. I'm important. I'm special. I believe in me. I have a life to live as well. And if we don't put that out in the atmosphere and say we're important, say we're special, say we're enough, then we'll start to, not really prioritize it. Like we'll always say, oh, I'll take care of myself later. I'll take care of whatever it is, my skin, my hair, my eating something. We'll go through a whole day, probably don't even drink any water. We'll stop taking care of ourselves when it comes to exercise. Basically, we let ourselves go sometimes in supporting others. Not saying we want to do that or we're trying to do it, but we put ourselves very low on the priority list, when we need to raise ourselves and put ourselves at the top of the list. Because I always say over here, remember, we cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're empty inside, what can you give? How can you show up for others? We can't. So, with all of that being said, prioritize yourself and realize how important you are. Number 2 is prioritize your needs. Number 3, say no when necessary. Oh my, is this an important point in this discussion and talking about people pleasing? So For most of the people who are the people pleasers, it's all about saying yes, being the yes woman or the yes man. And this happens a lot of times because we enable to disable. We do things for people, like we'll take over tasks that we should be letting others do, like, oh, I'll do that, I'll do it, you don't do it right, let me do it. So we try to control things, and that's something that we're going to have to work on letting go, that everything does not have to be the way we want them to be. Whether it's your kids, your spouse, significant other, your friend at the job, we have to just work on the things that is within our control and let others handle things. It will take some of the stress and the strain off of us. It will make our blood pressure go down, and you'll get to relax. Plus, we also are teaching your children, spouse, significant other, friends, other people that there are times where I'm not available. Hi, Joshua. How are you doing? I think that that's something that is so important. We have to show other people that we are not always going to be available. That's very important. We will not always be available. And saying that no, and no is a complete sentence, okay? No is a complete sentence. You don't have to say why it's no. All that people need to know is no. And that's the end of it. Say no when it's necessary. And I have to say this, in people pleasing, and a lot of times it's necessary for you to say no. You're tired. You don't feel good. You can't afford something. Whatever the case may be, or maybe you just don't want to do that. In people pleasing, I had to learn that how I feel matters. If I don't want to do something, I don't have to. I don't always have to make other people happy. You just simply say, no, I can't make that. No, I can't do that. No, I can't afford it. If other people are upset or angry, then that's their problem. One thing that I definitely had to work on is stop worrying about the reaction of other people. Oh, if I don't show up, what are they going to think? If I don't do that, who else is going to do it? And if I don't go, how will that look? I had to start working more on how do I feel? But I'm tired, or I don't feel good, or that's not something that I want to do. So we have to move away from people pleasing and be more about what pleases me, what makes me happy, what is my purpose in this life. We can get away from doing what we're originally, the reason why we're originally here on this earth, and get into other people's dreams and hopes and goals, and we forget about our own. Hey, Joe, how are you doing? Welcome. Happy Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're well. I think that it's so important for us to learn that word no. It that shifted my entire life when I learned that I don't have to be there for everybody. I don't have to support everybody. That was driving me crazy. I was doing things I didn't want to do. I was places I didn't like. I was spending money that I couldn't afford to spend. When I just learned to say no. No, I can't do that. No, I can't be there. No, I can't afford it. And I'm not going to feel guilty about it. As a reformed people pleaser, I no longer feel guilty in doing things when I can't afford it, when I don't like it, when a person just doesn't make me feel good, or I don't like that person's energy, or I don't like the way a person treats me. It's no, because I prioritize myself. So, to everybody who's working on not being a people pleaser, we have to move past the reaction and get into the action. How do I feel? How do I feel? And do I feel respected? Hi, Chip. How do I feel? Do I feel respected? Do I feel seen and heard? I don't know about you all, but sometimes I can get into the zone of I'm not even thinking about myself. I don't feel good. I'll ask myself, why am I even here? I don't even like this, or I can't even afford it. So we have to get inside of knowing what we can do, what we should do, what we can afford, what makes us feel good, how our energy is, how we're being treated. All of these things are so important. So prioritize yourself and say no when necessary. Point 4, practice self compassion. Practice self compassion. Do you know how important and special you are? This is very necessary. We can be very compassionate to other people. That's usually what a person who is a people pleaser is, a very kind person. But kindness has limits. In being kind to others, we also have to be kind to ourselves. Be compassionate to yourself. What do you want? What do you need? Are you tired? Then rest. Are you there's something you want to do? Then do that. We have to make ourselves unavailable to others in order to be available to ourselves. Hey realist, how are you doing? We have to make ourselves unavailable to others to be available to ourselves. I hope that message hits to whoever needs to hear it. We can always be available to everybody. We have to be available for ourselves. Point number 5, start with small changes and then expand. Start with small changes and then expand. So don't overwhelm yourself in saying, I have to do so much. I need to do this and that. I need to stop this and that. Start with one thing at a time. Maybe going through your phone. Maybe where you're wasting money, showing up where you don't need to show up, supporting what you don't want to support. Start with small things. Start pulling away. Start speaking up for yourself, telling people I'm not available. All of these things are essential in our mental health. It's essential in our peace of mind. It's essential in our joy. It's essential in respecting yourself. So respect you. If we don't respect ourselves, nobody else is going to. I had to learn. I'm bending over backwards, sleepless nights, working so hard, and all people say is okay or thanks. Or sometimes you don't even say thanks. You don't even get the thank you and the support. They give you an attitude, or can you do more? When you, like, do you realize what I went through to do X, Y, and Z? And there's not even a thank you. There's not even I appreciate you. There's none of that. So that's the reason why we have to speak up for ourselves and respect ourselves. Point number 6, avoid apologizing for what you need. We should never apologize because we need something, because we are something. Especially the more you tap into your own personal worth and you know what you want, you know your focus and the direction that you're walking, the path that is ahead for you, especially when you start making more intelligent, wiser decisions. You're tapping into your potential and your worth. You're using your gifts. You're loving on yourself. A lot of times people will, oh, you never did that before. Oh, yeah. And you find yourself saying, oh, I'm sorry. Don't apologize because you're being yourself. Don't apologize because you're loving on yourself. Don't apologize because you're healthy now. So avoid apologizing for what you need and how you need to show up. You are important. So don't apologize because you are being your authentic self. Point number 7, embrace discomfort. You know what I always say? We have to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. That's a real thing. We can't always be in the zone of making others happy while keeping ourselves unhappy or doing the things that we can't do the things we want to do because our time, our energy, our spirit, our finances is tied up in other people. So it's going to be uncomfortable. Some people will be upset. They may cuss you out. They may not deal with you anymore, but it's okay. Let the users go. Let them walk away. Let them talk about you behind your back. That means that they weren't meant to be in your life from the beginning. Let's stop holding on to people who have let go from us for a long time. We're holding on for dear life because we rather keep a piece of a man or a piece of a woman or a piece of a friend, a piece of a job. No, you deserve to be treated with kindness, love, respect. Your opinions should be listened to. You deserve to be supported. Kindness should be given to you. You should be treated a certain way. And if you cannot receive those things, it's time for you to go. Time for you to walk away, run, bounce, do not pass, go, don't stop, all of those things. Hey, Nate, how are you doing? Yes, Joe, it's the truth. So I just want you all to understand that. Embrace discomfort. It may be hard for you in the beginning to start to do things solo, or if if when you start embracing the newness, changes in your life, maybe doing things by yourself, maybe speaking up, finding your voice to say, no, I don't like that. No, I'm not doing that. I won't do that for you anymore. But you have to find your voice and speak up for yourself. So embrace the discomfort and say, this is a part of change. This is healthy and this is good for me. Okay? That's so important. So important. Embrace discomfort. We have to get uncomfortable sometimes. We have to cut ties with users and controlling people and jealous people, negative people, people who only use you for your time, your body, your mind, your spirit. Be very careful about what you give away. So much times we give away so much to others, but we are not receiving any of it back. We have to embrace the discomfort, the uncomfortableness that I'm being used. Yeah. I'm being played. Or this person is never going to be a good friend to me. This person will never be a good spouse or significant other. They've never been a good friend to me. They've never supported me. This is not what love is. So it's hard for us to get into the acceptance part, but it's important to do that for ourselves. It's important to show yourself love, yourself friendship, and realize that not everybody we have in our life cares about us. Yeah, that's going to be uncomfortable. It'll be a hard pill to swallow. Maybe it may cause you to get freed up and you'll be by yourself for a time. It's okay. It's a very important part of our healing to embrace the discomfort. That it's okay. I can do things by myself. And I'm okay. I'm strong enough. I'm courageous enough. And I embrace it. Nate says, embrace the people who embrace you and show it in actions. Exactly. It's all about the actions. So we have one more point and then we're going to get out of here. Seek support. So all of this and talking about being addicted to people pleasing, we can't do it on our own. If you feel you need some assistance, make sure you reach out, have a counselor, a mentor, a trusted friend, someone who's not going to tell you to stay in negativity, stay in a negative relationship, stay in toxicity. Hi, friends with super channels. How are you doing? Welcome. But it's important for us to seek support. Ask for support. That's one thing that I had to learn, that it was okay to reach out. It was okay to reach out and to ask people, can you help me? I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. one thing about people pleasing, I had to learn that it was okay for me to not know everything, for me not to have to feel like I have to do everything on my own. We don't have to do everything on our own. We don't have to carry all the burdens. We can talk about things with people that are reliable, that are trustworthy, that can hold things and don't go and tell all of our business, blab it. They're not a reporter. They're not going to tell everybody that they encounter our personal business. So that's important. So I wanted to say this to all of you. Let's walk away from being a people pleaser and being about pleasing ourselves. And this is going to be part one. We're going to pick up on this discussion on, I believe we're going to come back to this on Thursday. We're going to get into part two about the addiction to people pleasing, and we're going to go into another part of it. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just want to do something short and sweet so that I keep your attention. You're locked in. I hope you go through all 8 of the points, and anybody who's watching in the or listening in the replay, make sure you focus on these 8 things. And then on Thursday, we're going to come back and we're going to add some more things to helping us. Yes, Joe, it's okay to be the persons that we need to be. Happy, peaceful, all of those things. So I appreciate everybody who tuned in to today's conversation. Hi, Susanna. Thanks for the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And I will definitely see you all back on Thursday. You know what I say over here? Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life. I'm Marlene of Marlene Motivates, your channel for motivation, inspiration, positivity, and mindset shifting. I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your support. And let's get away from people pleasing and get into our purpose. I'll see you on the next one, and we'll pick up in talking about our purpose on Thursday. Everybody have a great rest of your evening. Bye-bye, everybody.